Flosstube! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is my fiber web where I talk about cross stitch and sometimes knitting. Today I have a December recap video for you. If you have been here for a while, you may know that I attempted to do Flossmas this year and I did not make it very far. So I also recently did my 2024 end of year whip parade. So I do have some new subscribers from that video, so if you are one of those, welcome to the channel. I am going to pretend that I did not do Flossmas, and I'm just going to go over everything that I got done in December. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the knitting that I have done this month. I had a couple of Advent knitting projects that I did get complete, so I'm going to show you those real quick. The first one is an Advent sock project. So this is a self-striping skein of yarn that came split up already into two matching cakes, and then there was a 30-gram mini skein for the toes and heels. This is from Woolens and Nosh, and I just did a pair of vanilla socks. I did not grab my sock blockers, they would look better on those, but I just do 68 stitches. I think I did like 14 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and then it's just a vanilla sock with a heel flap and gusset. And then I do sort of a like tapered toe, so it's not a straight triangle, it's more rounded, I think is what you call it. So those are my Advent socks. I got those done I think on Christmas Eve. And I also, there are 24 different stripes and then it repeats, but I managed to get exactly the 24 stripes. So it starts with this purple and then mine ended with this mint, and then purple would have been the next color if I had to add more length. Okay, the other project I have to show you is a little bit harder to show. This is my Pancake and Lulu 2024 Advent mini calendar that I use to make a Sleigh all day wrap, which is a design by Lofty Loops. And I was showing this on my Flossmas videos. So it started over here with this gray, and we went through these blues, and then sort of teal, green, yellows, orange, some purpley plums, and then surprise, I was not expecting this like hot pink and hot coral at the end. So there are 24 different sections. Every other section is brioche, like this, and then in between there it cycles through 3 different pattern sections. There's one with lace, this one with these like chevrons, and then just these vertical stripes that use slip stitches. So I have not blocked this yet, so when I do block it, I'm going to stretch it a bit this way so it will have more width. Right now it's sort of bunched up, and it's quite long, so it's like double my wingspan, whatever that is. But this was very, very fun to work on. I think I kept up with it. I knit the color on the day for like every day except maybe one, because there was one day where I decided I really needed to finish a cross stitch project, and on that day I did not do my knitting. So those are my 2 Advent projects. So now we're going to switch to cross stitch. And the first thing that I have to show you is a finish. If you watched any of my videos, you've seen this already, but I'm going to show it again. This is Prairie Wind by Carolyn, and I finished it earlier this month. So I had planned on working on this during the Jingle Ball, and then my Jingle Ball plans went out the window because we all got sick. But I was able still to finish this month. I had a goal to finish it by the end of the year, and I did it. So this is on a 14 count Aida. I don't know what the color is. It's like taupe. And yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to fully finish this, but I am just so happy that it is complete. And I would like to start another one of these, but I'm not sure which one yet, and I don't have a solid plan to do that. So I think that might be my only finish for December. The other finish that I will share right now, I'll put a picture in. I did a smalls exchange through the there's a Facebook group, Fandom Stitching Central is the name of it. I did a smalls exchange through that, so I will put up the piece that I made and sent to the person I was matched with. Okay, and then if you have been following along this year, you know I had sort of accidentally realized that it wouldn't be much of a stretch for me to have 100 starts this year. I think I realized that after October, after I did my October Startathon extravaganza. So I have reached 100 starts, and I actually have one bonus start. So let me go through those. So I'm going to go through my new starts. These are mostly what I've been working on this month, and then I do have a couple of whips that I will show you at the end that I've also put a little bit of work into. So start number 95 for this year was Santa's House, which I started on December 1st. And let's see how this will look. So I have this in my nerd hoop. I had it on my Ravelry stand this morning. I've been focusing on this for the last few days. I was inspired by Andrew the Runner Stitcher. He worked on this same pattern during his Flossmas, and he got the whole house done in a relatively short amount of time. So once I finished watching his Flossmas, I was inspired to pull this out. So yeah, I think the last 3 days plus this morning, I've just worked only on this project. The house is like sort of a drag for me, so I started in this top corner and I started working on the roof. So you have to do all of these like snowflakes and then fill in around them, and that was not my favorite. So then I started working on this part, and then you can probably tell, like, I put in these designs, so all I have to fill in here is the red background color, which is an overdyed thread, I think, called Ladybug. I still have to finish this part of the roof. I have this whole section of the roof, but I decided to stitch all the other things first because those have been more fun. So I got the sleigh done and the 2 reindeer, and just this morning I got this part of the border, and it matched up with the part I had up here, so that's good. I still have to put this side in. There's a bunch more snowflakes up here, and there's some like snow on the ground down here, but otherwise, like, most of the motifs are in there. And I just need to fill in the house. I was thinking about saving some of the fill-in. Sorry, you can kind of see through that. I was thinking about saving some of the fill-in for like a Zoom call or something like that, where maybe I won't notice how tedious it feels. But if I run out of other things to stitch, I'll just go back and work on that again. Does this help at all? A little bit. Okay, so I'm doing this, I didn't even say. I'm doing it 1/2 on a 36 count prehistoric from Fox and Rabbit, which is the called for color for this, but not the called for count. So that was start number 95 on the 1st of December. The next thing, so start number 96, would have helped if I put these in order, is Oh Christmas Tree by Love Poppet. This was a mystery stitch along that I joined late, and the whole thing has been released now. It was, the last part was released before Christmas, so you could have had it done for Christmas, but I'm still working on the first clue, and I'm using the called for colors 2/1 on this 16 count Wren by Picture This Plus. So that was start number 96, and this probably is going to go away now until next year. So I need to put that, actually I need to put that floss away. Okay. Start number 97 was, I'm getting tangled up over here. This is one that I had kitted for quite a while and just never got around to starting for some reason. So this is Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I have all of the called for overdyed floss for this. And here is my little start. The fabric that I'm using is a Bestitch Me fabric, I think. No, that's a lie. Is it? I'll put on the screen what the fabric is, because I can't remember now if it's Bestitch Me or something else. But it has a little bit of a green tint to it. which I thought kind of went well with the colors that are in this chart. So I started in the bottom right, so with the pink house. I just did enough of the border to get the house placed correctly. I think I only worked on this for like one day. Okay, my next new start, so start number 98, was a stitch along that I decided to join. This is called Put a Bird on It. I'm doing mine on a 32 count Neptune Jobelin from Bestitch Me, and I did a center start on mine, so I am not following the 12 sections that were laid out for this. I am just attempting to do 1/12 of it every month, and I did achieve that. So this is like 8.4% of the pattern. So this is one of the largest motifs, and let's see, I believe this is up, but it's symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter. And I decided to use some silks that I bought. I don't even remember why I bought these, but the first three colors I pulled are these NPI silks. The colors are like magenta, fuchsia, and hot pink. So I'm going to use these, and then I think I might also add in later some like chartreusey colors or like a dark teal. I'm going to see how far these three silks take me, and then we will see what else gets added in here. But this is very fun to work on, and I'm doing it 2/2 on this 32 count sky blue. The next thing that I started was, so this is start number 99, was the Reindeer by Cottage Garden samplings. I've also had this whole series, A Year in the Woods, sitting in my stash waiting to be stitched for quite a while, so I decided now is the time. And I am planning on doing this in 4 pieces, so like each piece of fabric will have 3 charts on it for the 4 different seasons. So I started with the reindeer, and I was just working on the antlers. So this is, what is this fabric? I think this is Bestitch Me again, but I'm not sure what the fabric is. But here's my stitching. So this is an 18 count Aida, which means I am doing this 1/1. I think I was trying to show you. Okay, there we go. So there's the start of my reindeer, and the fabric is, if you can tell, it's a really good match. Maybe this is called Frost or something like that. I think it was a fabric of the month, because I was getting the 18 count Aida for a while from my fabric of the month. So if it's not called Frost, I'll put on the screen what it is called. But yeah, I worked on this for one day, just got started on those antlers. And I'm going to put the swans and the fox on the same piece of fabric. Oh, and this is Bear, if you're new here. He's usually in this bed behind me in my videos. Okay, so start number 100 was unplanned. This is a chart that I got during the first Jingle Ball. So I attended the first Jingle Ball. I did not go to the second one, and then I did go briefly to the one that was this year. This is called Peace and Light, and it is by Satsuma Street, Jody Rice from Satsuma Street. And this is a Hanukkah pattern, which I think I mentioned I might start this in December, and I don't know if I said that it was a Hanukkah pattern. I might have said, here are all the Christmas patterns I'm considering, which obviously this is not a Christmas pattern. But anyway, I love the colors, and I worked on this, I think, for 2 days. I'm using the called for DMC shades 2/2 on this 32 count chalkboard. And I will have put a picture up of what this looks like. So the bird's shoulder has the star on it, and I think I might change that out and just make it just a regular like pattern through there, because I am not Jewish. I don't usually celebrate Hanukkah. I'm also just not really religious at all. So, but yeah, I really love the bird and the colors in this one. I'm excited to get to all those little candles. But again, that one will probably be put away until next winter, which is a little bit sad, but we'll see. And then I have one more start to share with you. Where did I put the chart? I'll put a picture in because I left the chart on the table. I do have a paper copy of this. But this is the Kathy Barrick Quaker Christmas pattern, which you can stitch as a stocking or as a sampler. I got the NPI silk pack on Black Friday. I ordered that. And Annie, similarly to the Put a Bird on It sale, which I don't even know if I said Put a Bird on It is a modern folk embroidery chart. Anyway, similar to how that one works, Annie has broken this one down into manageable pieces so that we can get it done by next Christmas. And I already went rogue. So the first assignment was these blue flowers, but not the basket that they're in. And then I think this snowflake was on there, but this one wasn't. And then these two trees. So I did a little extra already. Also, Annie is stitching both the sampler and the stocking. And her directions for the stocking had you starting at the toe. And then this was the starting point for the sampler. But I think I am going to do the stocking. I'm just going to move around. And I'm going to do something similar where I'm just going to try to get like a 12th of it done every month. Which is actually... I don't know how I'm going to do that because I have the paper pattern, so I don't know how many stitches there are. I'll just roughly keep up with what Annie's doing, but sort of go, like, tweak it and make it my own a little bit. But anyway, I love these colors. And this is, the fabric is wheat, which is the called for. And my friend Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe sent me her piece. It is 40 count, and she's not a fan of 40 count anymore, so I adopted her 40 count wheat. And I'm very excited for this. It was hard to put this one away, but I had other things I wanted to work on, so I'm excited to get this back out again. I think Annie said she'll have another section for us on the 2nd, which is only 2 days away. So those are the last of my 101 starts for 2024. I'm not sure if I will ever do 100 starts again. I did turn 40 this year, so it was like a milestone birthday, but I wasn't planning on doing anything special for it. So maybe like when I turn 50, I will do this again. We'll see. I already have a lot of plans for next year. So I'm saying I won't do this again, but I'm not really sure if that's true. I will go over my plans at the end of this video if we have time. So I did have a few other whips that I worked on this month, and I will show you those real quick. The first one is Skogafoss, which is a full coverage chart by my friend Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. This is from her Cross Stitch of Ice and Fire booklet, which is photographs that she took at filming locations from Game of Thrones. So I am doing this one extreme cross country, going from the color that's used the least to the most. It is 2/1 tent stitch on this 28, I think this is 28 count, easy grid. So this one is really fun to work on. I like taking out one color and using it and then putting it away. So I don't, like this, the bag is empty. There's nothing, I don't have to keep anything with it besides itself. And I think I am at 20% on this one now. So that's fun. And then I have another stitch along that's been broken up into 12 parts. This one started in November. The chart is by Mama Loves You GB. It is called Hannah Atwater 1832. And Carolyn from Evertotes is hosting this stitch along. There's a Facebook group you can join if you want to be a part of it. And I love this so much. I'm doing mine on 40 count Kiwi by Picture This Plus. So I did start in the same corner as Carolyn. And I wanted to get the motifs that she had in the first section done. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to work on the border as I go around, so I don't have to do the whole border at once. The border is fun to work on, though. So to catch up with the part that she picked, I would have to go up higher over here with the border, and I think there's like a little motif up here. But I have this chart as a PDF, and I'm already over 10% done, so that's more than 1/12 by quite a bit, so I just stopped and put it away for the month. Although I am a month behind, so this started in November, but I didn't start it until like the very end of November, and I didn't work on it much until December. So I'm just going to work about a month behind what everyone else is doing. And if I catch up at some point next year, great. And if I don't, that's fine. I'm going to try to do a 12th of it every month. So I'm using the called for DMC 1/2 on this 40 count. And this fabric does not photograph very well. It is not quite as like acid green as it looks. It's a little bit paler, but the camera likes to pump it up. Like it's a little bit more like what this part looks like. But yeah, I love the color palette on here, and I think it's going to be really good. And I really liked stitching this little bird. He was fun. And I have to show you the bag because the bag is like perfect. This is a ragtag quilt art bag that I got on Etsy. And I think I dropped something when I pulled it out, but I will find it later. Okay, I have one more project to show you. This is my snow day stitch for this winter. It's White Winter Moth by Barrick. And I must admit, there were a couple days where it snowed and I did not work on this, so I owe it a few strands. So the way that I'm doing this is I'm just trying to put in at least one strand of thread every day that it snows at my house. And by doing that, I already was able to finish out the white on this wing and get started over here. I'm trying to do the white part first because that part was sort of stopping me from working on this, I think. This is one of my oldest whips. I started it in, I think, November of 2022. So it is owed a couple of strands from when it snowed, and I'm going to keep it out for the rest of winter and hopefully work on it every time that it snows. Maybe a little bit more. See how far I can get. Okay. So that's a pretty good segue into my plans. So that one is going to stay out for winter stitching. And then let's talk real quick about my other plans right now for 2025. Let's see, did I go through everything I had on here? Oh, I have one more thing to show you. Once I finished my Advent knitting, I wanted to start one more thing. I was in the knitting mood. So I have a start of a sweater. This is called the Mozart Pullover, and it is by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. I worked on this for like one day, I think. So it has lace and cables. It's all one color. I think this is technically like the top back of the sweater. I don't remember. I didn't like look at the construction very much. I just jumped in and started with the directions at the beginning. But this yarn is Woolfolk. I don't remember what the base is called. It's like a very airy, squishy yarn. It's very similar to the yarn that I used for this sweater, which is also by Caitlin Hunter. I did this one as a test knit. And what is this one called? I don't remember. Oh, Oksa, or Uksa, O-K-S-A. So I did this one as a test knit, and this yarn base is very similar. I actually bought this yarn and was maybe going to use it for this sweater. So I've had the sweater quantity of it sitting on my shelf for a while, and I decided to make. This is a new release from her. I saw it, and I started it like the same day. Okay, so now we're going to talk about plans for 2025. Because now that's really everything I worked on, I believe, this month. Okay, so I had considered several different things for 2025. One of them that I mentioned in the past was Whip Warriors has 3 streams. Whip Warriors is a Facebook group where everyone works on trying to whip down, basically. There are 3 streams you can choose from in Whip Warriors. One is where you have no new starts for the entire year, like absolutely 0 under any circumstances, new starts. The second one is where you pick 25 projects and you can only work on those 25 until you finish one of them, at which point you can pull in another whip or you can have a new start. And then the third track is stitch what you want when you want, meaning you can have new starts whenever, you can work on whatever whips you want, you can use them for the challenges. So I decided not to actually participate in Whip Warriors this year, but I was sort of toying with that idea of like, should I just pull out 25 things to focus on and like hold myself to those? I also had considered making a Whip Go board all of Christmas ornaments like Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe is doing. She is doing hers all from the Jingle Ball Bauble books. She has all 3 books, so that's 36 ornaments, and she chose her favorite 24 or 25. I don't remember if she filled in the center square. They have a video about the ones she picked if you want to go check that out. So I chose 25 that I liked, but then I decided that I don't think I'm going to actually do that. So what I came up with is as follows. So I'm going to keep up with Put a Bird on It, the stitch along of that Modern Folk embroidery piece, so that I can have it done by the end of the year. I am going to try to keep up with Hannah Atwater, so same thing. I'm going to work on it until I get about 8.4% of it done, and then I'm just going to put it away until the next month. I'm going to work on the Quaker Christmas stocking, keep up with that, hopefully. So I have those 3 projects that I have like monthly assignments that I want to stick with for the whole year. Aside from that, I have all of those Halloween projects that I started in October, and I want to keep those in the rotation throughout the year. So I made a wheel of the remaining Halloween pieces that I have that are not done, and there are 24 of them, which means that works out really well to have 2 per month that I take out and look at. It's a little bit weird because in October I will work on all of them. But anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I have a Tiny Decisions wheel that I'm going to spin each month. So I will spin the Halloween wheel twice, and whatever 2 projects it picks I will pull out to work on that month. Similarly with full coverage, I did not get a lot of progress on my full coverage projects this year, so I also want to put those on a wheel and choose one to be my full coverage focus every month. I do not have 12 full coverage projects. I think I have like 6 or 7. It might be 6. So I will focus on each of those for 2 of the months this year. Similarly, I have a bunch of mirabilia and 1 lavender and lace that I started in sort of a crazy frenzy in November. So to make sure that I get some progress on those, I'm also going to spin every month to pick one of those to focus on. January is an exception. I'm going to have Scent of Old Roses as my focus for that because Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe is hosting her Princess Birthday sale again, so I'm going to work on that one for the sale. But in other months where there's nothing assigned from the fancy lady category, I will spin that wheel for that. I don't remember exactly how many of those I have. I will check. And then the last thing that I'm going to spin for on a monthly basis is my kits, meaning like pre-packaged kits like dimensions and the like. I have a bunch of those started. I really like vintage kits, so I started a bunch of them this year for the Bring Out Your Kits sale, and I had already started some before that, so there are a lot of those, and I also don't tend to gravitate towards those. So I'm going to do the same thing. I think there's like 9-ish of those, and I'm going to spin a wheel every month to have one of those to focus on. Okay, are you with me? So I have my 3 projects that have monthly assignments. I have wheels to make sure that I touch all of the things in those other categories. And then, which there are 4 of those, full coverage, fancy ladies, pre-made kits, and Halloween stuff. And then it just so happened that everything that was left over that didn't fit into any of those categories, there were about 25 of those projects. So I did make a Whip Go board. So everything that is not on those wheels is on the Whip Go board. And if you don't know what Whip Go is, it is a bingo game hosted by Jessie Marie Does Stuff, where you create a board with 25 goals. They can be anything you want. They can be stitching goals, they can be finishing goals, they could be knitting goals, they could be house cleaning goals. I mean, whatever you want. And every month she pulls 2 numbers, with the exception of 1 month, whenever the free space in the middle comes up, she pulls 3. So the idea is you just work on those goals in whatever month they get picked. So I have a full Whipco board. I also have, there is a project in the center, so mine does not have a free space. And then, so that, all of those different things, the wheels, the Whipco, and the assignments, should mean that I should touch all of my projects this year. Like, every project I have is on one of those spaces. Because that is one overarching goal. Like, the only goal that I actually really care about sticking to is that I want to work on all of my whips at least once this year. And then I have 2 stretch goals, which is those Cottage Garden series. So I started both the Year in the Woods and the Fabulous Houses in December, and I want to keep going with those throughout the year. So at first I thought I could try to actually like keep up with them and get them done. And now I think that that's crazy given how much effort I have put into Santa's house and it's still not being very close to a finish. So I'm not sure yet if I want to do them tissue box style, meaning I wait until Santa's house is finished and then whenever that happens I can start the next one. Or if I want to do what Brenda from Handwork Maniac did this year with the Fabulous Houses and just start the next one on a certain date, regardless of whether the ones before it are done or not, so they all have a start. Because the Fabulous Houses I'm doing all on one piece of fabric, so as long as I have like enough of the border done, I could start the next one even if the first one's not finished. So say on like the 15th of every month, I just start the next Fabulous House. So I don't know why I thought both of those series would be good, but I want to do the Fabulous Houses, and then Cottage Garden Samplings announced that they're going to have another Year in the Woods starting this summer. So I want to get the ones that I have going so that when there are more that I am going to love, because I love almost everything I've seen from Cottage Garden Samplings, I won't feel bad about trying to collect those two. So we'll see. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try to start the Fabulous Houses on like the 15th of each month, and then the Year in the Woods I will do tissue box. So I will wait until the Reindeer is done to start the Fox. I'm not sure. Also, historically I have not been much of a planner for my crafting, so I don't know how long any of this is going to seem like a good idea. I know last January I had big plans for working on full coverage stuff, and I had some other series that I wanted to do throughout the year, and I think I made it through February and then gave up. One of them was the Blackbird Anniversaries of the Heart. The other one was the monthly Quakers from Wendy at From the Heart Needle Art. So I don't know if these plans are actually going to be things I stick to all year, and that's fine with me. This was fun for me to go through and come up with an idea for a way to touch all my projects. But what I did last year was I basically created a tiny decisions wheel with the projects that I hadn't touched yet at the middle of the year. And any time, like any day that I was like, I don't really know what I want to work on, I would just spin that wheel so that I could work on something that hadn't been touched yet in that year. And I have worked on everything this year except 2 things. One is the Blue Flower Seasons of the Heart Spring chart. I did not work on that this year. The other one is a Dimensions kit that I started. It is a gold collection, but a petite one with chickadees, and I did not work on that one at all this year. So so next year I want to try to work on all of them. And then also at my mid-year whip parade this year, I came up with a list of things I wanted to try to finish by the end of the year. I finished about half of them, and that's also fine with me. Like, I like to have an idea of something to work towards, but I'm not like feeling guilty if I don't reach all of my goals. It's more just like a fun game, and I don't have to win the game because I'm already winning by doing this hobby that I enjoy. So I have seen some Whipco boards and other stitch-alongs pop up recently that are like no pressure, take a project out, like take one of your oldest whips out and look at it, and that's all you have to do. And if that makes you want to stitch on it, fine, and if it doesn't, then just put it away again. And I love the spirit of that, because I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense to force yourself to work on something that you're not enjoying working on. We have limited time to do our hobbies, and we should be enjoying them. That's how I feel about it anyway. But I'm definitely a process crafter. Like, I'm in it for the process. So if you are more of a product crafter, like you want the thing on your wall, you want the sweater so that you can wear it, then I can see why you would be more willing to like work through those times when you're not super in love with the project. So I understand both ways, but I am definitely not going to work on something if I'm not loving it. I mean, not for very long. Okay, I don't know why I forgot. I wanted to spin the wheel live for January since it starts tomorrow. So I'm going to spin for 2 Halloween projects. So here's my wheel with all of my Halloween whips. Ooh, I didn't turn the sound off. Okay, so Night Riders I will work on in January. This is a stitch along by Love Poppet. I will put in a picture of what that looks like, and you will see it soon in January, hopefully. And then let's spin again. Oh, it's not turning it off. Okay. Okay, vintage Halloween candy buckets. This is a witchy stitcher pattern. So I will pull those 2 out, and I will put them, I have a little cubby here where I keep everything that I'm planning on working on in the current month. So those 2 will go in there. And I need to change the settings for this wheel so it turns those off so they don't get picked again, but that's fine. And then let's pick a full coverage project for January. So these are my full coverage projects. I have Chromatic Dragon from Pain Free Crafts. Someplace for Me is a Hade. Absorbing the Earth and Sky is Unconventional X, and so is Cops. Skogafoss is that Cross Stitch the Globe chart, and Japanese Garden is a Dimensions kit. So let's see. Okay, so January's full coverage focus will be Absorbing the Earth and Sky. Fancy Lady I do not need to spin for because I'm going to do Scent of Old Roses. But just to show you, let's see, there are 9. So I do have 9 Fancy Ladies. So this month will be Scent of Old Roses, but then those are the ones that will show up in future months. And then this wheel has my kits, like Dimensions, and Janlin and Bernat, stuff like that. So let's spin this one. How many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one also has 9. So once I get through the 9, maybe I'll just work on like the 3 that didn't get as much work as the others, or if there's anything close to a finish. I don't know. Oh, let's spin. Okay, Mallard Ducks Walking. This is a kit that I started for the You Quack Me Up sale hosted by Wendy of Matrix Stitcher, Stitch in the Matrix. And I think there's a co-host for that, and I can never remember who it is. But that's good because this one has like 20 stitches in it, so it will be good to get some more work into there. So those will be the projects that I pull out to focus on in January. They will live in this little cubby. I don't really have a schedule as to like when I'm going to work on what. So some of them might not get worked on. So going back to what I said about like that Sal where you just pull the project out and look at it. Like that might be what happens with some of these. And so if I don't work on them, they will go on that things that I haven't touched in 2025 wheel, so that hopefully at some point during the year I will feel like working on them. If it's not in the month that they get called, that's okay with me. Okay, that's all. Okay, so I think that is everything that I have for you. I hope you had a nice holiday season. My kids have been home for a couple weeks now. They go back to school next Monday. It is New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year to you, wherever you are. I hope that you have what do I want to say? I hope that your New Year's Eve, you find something to fill your cup so that you can enter 2025 feeling good, and healthy, and thankful, grateful, hopeful. Yeah. So I will leave you there, and hopefully I will see you soon. Take care. Happy New Year. Love you.